Hello, everybody. This is the first Expat Escapades video. My name is Lindsay, also known as Lynn, and this is the lovely Jason.
Hello.
We're just two ladies that live in Braga, and we moved abroad here to Portugal from different countries because we wanted to live the lifestyle here. And I thought that it would be a very good idea for our first video to explain to you why we moved here from two different perspectives. Because I am American, I am from USA, so my reasons are obviously going to be different than Jason's, who is from
Malta.
so he was already an EU
Yes.
citizen. So I guess first I'll just introduce myself a little bit so you know kind of who I am, like very, very short introduction. My name is Lindsay. I'm originally from Atlanta. I lived in New York, went to New York University, lived abroad in a couple of different countries for study, for work. I'm 35 years old, and I ultimately settled down here with my partner. I've been here for a year and a half.
My name is Jason. I'm from Malta, which is a tiny country in the Mediterranean between Sicily and basically Tunisia, Libya. We're part of EU. I'm 42 years old. I'm married, and we decided to move to Portugal basically for the quality of life. We did some research, and we had a friend of ours who is Portuguese, so we visited the country a couple of times, and we loved the way people live here, which is less chaotic, more green, more quieter. And we decided, of course, we chose Braga, which is the third largest city in Portugal, and which is more quiet than Porto and Lisbon. So we've settled here.
I think that's the reason that a lot of people choose Braga. Many people don't even know where the
No.
fudge Braga is. Okay, so if you know where Portugal is, you know we're on the edge of the Iberian Peninsula. Okay, the two biggest cities in Portugal are Lisboa, Lisbon, which is further down south. It's a port town, and Porto, which is also a port town, but it's up north. But if you drive about an hour inland and north, I think it's north, inland and north, then you get to Braga, which is a smallish town. I think it's small because I came from New York City, which has freaking 15 million people. In Braga, like the central area of Braga has like 100,000 people, but it doesn't feel like that because you see the same fucking people every single day, no matter where you go. Like you get used to seeing the same people because you get to know your neighbors and all of your friends live within the same 3 kilometer radius. So it's a smallish town that's close enough to Porto that you can go and have fun in Porto, but you don't have to live there.
Exactly. Basically, Braga is like the capital city of Malta, Valletta. Of course, it's a bit bigger. I'm talking about the center of Braga, not the district. So you always see the same people. Basically, it's like a routine, you know. It becomes your home. You see, like anyway.
You just go out and see everybody all
Exactly,
the time.
all the time.
All the time. Like people that you just met the day before, you'll happen to run into them. I'm sorry, guys, that my nose is running. My entire face is fucking running because we're outside and it is, let me look.
Freaking hot.
I usually have it on my Apple Watch, but I'm using
it's
it
like
to film.
39 degrees.
It's like 39 degrees, which is, if you're a Fahrenheit girly and not a Celsius girly, that's really fucking hot. It's like 90 something like that.
Santa, it's hot.
Yeah, it's really, really hot. So anyway, back to the point of this video. We were supposed to be talking about why we moved here from different perspectives. And disclaimer, before we talk about this, these are our opinions, solely our opinions. I don't represent all of Americans. I don't represent all immigrants to Portugal. Like, this is solely my opinion. Take of it what you will. As an American, as a woman, as a person of color, this is just how I feel. So,
Insane.
yeah.
It's just our opinions.
Yeah. So, The reason that I decided to move to Portugal, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it was really my partner who decided this was what he wanted to do. He traveled a lot for work. He came to Portugal a couple of times. At the time, I was still working my first big girl job in New York at a tech company. I worked overnight, long hours, slept during the day, still barely made ends meet. And you have this New York culture of having a very difficult time trying to get your friends together to do things. Despite the fact that you live in the same freaking city, getting people together to do things was always complicated because there's a mentality in New York and in America in general of work first, work, 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 work. You live to work. You don't really work to live. So I was in this kind of very stressful environment. My partner was an OBC. If you don't know what that is, it's onboard couriering, where people pay you basically as a physical person to take things from point A to point B. So instead of shipping it, like a person takes it. So everything from plane parts to emergency parts that are needed for machinery to clothes for Paris Fashion Week. He carried a whole bunch of different stuff.
Quite interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool and it's really easy to do. So maybe if you guys are interested, you can let me know and we'll have him as a guest. He probably won't come very willingly, but we'll try, and we can interview him about
We're
it.
very good. Persuading.
We're very persuasive. Yeah, so anyway, he came here a couple of times for different jobs, and he's like, I really like the people, I really like the lifestyle and the environment. And I came a couple of times, and after time 2 or so, he was like, how would you feel about living here? And of course, I'm reticent about leaving my job and my family and everybody. It's not that I had not lived abroad before, because I had, but I always thought that I would end up in the United States. We were looking for a house in the United States. However, like, we were looking for a house in upstate New York because, like, fuck, we were going to afford anything in New York City. It's absolutely impossible. For our rent, we were already paying north of $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, and it wasn't even in Manhattan. It was in Queens. If you don't know anything about New York City, there are 5 boroughs, and Manhattan's in the center, and all of the other boroughs go around Manhattan. So we were in one of the outer boroughs, and we were paying over $2,000 for a 1-bedroom.
So it's nothing like Sex and the City, right?
No, I mean,
maybe the sex.
quite possibly. I mean, it's a little bit like Sex and the City, but not really. Anyway, we came here and he saw how cheap everything was, how, friendly and warm the people are, how the culture is really very much you I'm getting confused, live to work and work to live. What I'm trying to say is here, if they don't gotta work, they don't have to. Like, they will do exactly how much they need to live a lifestyle that they like, and that's it. Like, literally no more. So it's very much a chill, like, life being prioritized, family being prioritized, things like that. And we admired that because that really wasn't what was happening for us in the United States. You add the socioeconomic, political climate in the United States, which I'm not going to go into because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get lambasted over it. But you can draw your own conclusions. I'm a Black woman coming from the United States. My partner is a Latino man. His parents immigrated to the United States, so he's a first-generation Latino American. And things weren't going so well, okay? We left during Biden's presidency, the beginning of Biden's presidency. But in the wake of Trump, things still weren't going very well. And we just decided it would be better for us to start a life and maybe start a family here. So in a nutshell, the reason that I left America is because I did not feel comfortable socially, economically, politically. Sorry, people are saying hi to us from inside the cafe. But I just didn't feel comfortable, and my boyfriend visited it, I visited it, and I thought it was great. I've been here for 2 years, and this is really just an introductory video about the difference in perspective. So if you guys want a more in-depth video from each of us about like exactly why, let's break it down reasons, we can do that. But this is meant to be just kind of like a short teaser.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll shut up now. Jason.
So, Lynn, you know our story. Basically, we left Malta because I used to go home after work every single day, so stressed that one day I went home. I said, Mert, which is my husband, I'm married to a Turkish man, and I said, this is enough. This is enough. Malta is not the same country that I was brought up in. It has changed so much that I'm not even feeling like this is my home. So we did, after doing some research and contacting people through social media and certain groups in Portugal, expat groups, we decided to sell everything. Like, we had a house, we had two cars. I have my family there, my friends, which I miss so much. We sold everything, and we just plunged and got on a flight and came here. The reason for leaving also, Malta was getting too crowded, too dirty. Um, People are getting so frustrated with traffic, with the increase in population. So that was it basically. Um, right now we are living here. We are living in the north, and we love it. It's it's totally different than Malta. So Malta is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. We have nice beaches. The people are nice. It's a wonderful destination to visit. But on my personal opinion, it became a bit too much to live there. It became like all Malta is like a huge city. You know? Traffic everywhere, dirt everywhere. Basically, it's like New York, but all the country. It's like chaotic.
Yeah.
But I still love my country. But I wouldn't want to live there, at least for the time being. We're enjoying it,
Yeah.
here. So
I think that it's you have to understand the difference in life once you move here is pretty much immediate. Like I was saying that it was really hard to see my friends who lived in the same city because everybody prioritizes work over everything else. Every time you go out on a date night, every time you go out to get drinks, every time you go at happy hour, you just watch your bank account sink lower and lower and lower and lower, and you struggle to keep up. And then all of the money that you've saved, everything that you've worked for, has to go through toward a house that you can barely afford. You're going to be paying for that for the rest of your life. Like,
yes,
you can't afford health insurance. If something happens to you, like, you're fucked. All it takes is one wrong thing to happen to you. Sorry, guys. Oh God, of course this happens in the middle of the video. But anyway,
evacuation.
evacuation. Let's run. But like, it's just, you. If something happens to you and you don't have health insurance, or you're insufficiently insured, like you might have health insurance, but it's not enough. It takes one wrong thing that's not your fault, and you're fucked.
On the other hand, Malta does not have that problem. I mean, the healthcare is good. It's free. Of course, you have to wait a bit, but we don't have that situation there. But it's becoming costly, and also to buy property, it's becoming too fucking expensive. Imagine to buy a two-bedroom apartment, minimum 300. So here you can buy a house, with 300,000 euro. So
Yeah, it's a relative thing because, could we buy a house for $500,000 in the US? Even though me and my partner don't, I'm not flaunting it. I'm saying, is it a possible thing to do? Just because you can doesn't mean you should, is what I'm saying. So could we have? Yes, and we would have been in debt for the rest of our lives working to maintain this house. And here, for, like Jason said, 200,000, 300,000, you can buy a nice house with a swimming pool and a whole bunch of land, and it's nicer. And then, besides everything being more affordable, not only houses, but drinks, food, stuff like that. Like, it's not gonna, when I lived in New York, a happy hour glass of wine, like the cheapest you could find it for happy hour, would be like $8 or $9 for a glass of wine. Here I go out and I get my Vino Verde at a cafe for like €3 a glass, and that's expensive. Like 120, 130, like euros,
yes,
like
yes.
1.30, not 130, guys.
In
1.30.
fact, we even from the center, we buy a bottle of Vino Verde. It's like 550, and from the supermarket it's like 190 or €2. I mean, in Malta it's not expensive as in New York, but it's still more expensive. Like a glass of white wine, it will cost you around €5 to €6. Here, you can find it at like for the price of 170, 190 to euro. Of course, you can find higher prices like €4 for a glass of wine, but then depends where you go. But you have choice. You have choice where to go, what to take, and the food also. The food is very good, and it's not very expensive.
No, the food here is actually, I think the great thing about Portugal is it's very much like a choose your own adventure game. If you want to go out and buy your €1 glass of wine and your €1 pastéis and you want to spend €5 on a lunch special and you want to go out with your friends and get €2 beers, it is very much possible in many places, like many places. However, if you wanted to go get an €8 cocktail, you wanted to buy like a fancy dinner that costs you €100 a person, you could also do that here. Right. It's harder to find in Braga, especially because it's a smaller town. But you can still do that. It's like Jason said, there is definitely a surfeit of choice here, and it doesn't feel like you are relegated to spending a lot of money to have a good time.
Exactly. Money lasts longer.
Yes.
Lasts longer.
Exactly. And because Braga is such a small town, I say small town because I'm New York, guys. The fact that there's a community of people that we met, it was very easy for us to make friends. And then there's this community of people who we all have a very similar lifestyle. So whereas in New York, I'd have to say, okay, let's get together, let's book it in our calendar, and it's going to take us, 3 weeks to come up with a time where it works for all four of us to get together.
Happen within those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You might end not meeting up.
Yeah. It could be canceled. Somebody's baby has an issue. Somebody can't get time off of work. Somebody has to work late. Somebody's husband gets sick. There's always something. Here, it's like every day, 20 or 30 of us that are in a friend group have a group chat, and we send out a ping, who's in town for drinks? Who wants to go for lunch? Who wants to go to a river beach? And somebody always answers. Like, you never have to worry about seeing your friends because somebody always wants to do something. Somebody always answers. Again, it's a particular lifestyle. Like, people who move here have a particular lifestyle, but I just find it so much more like, it's so much more sociable and everybody wants to be around each other and it's cheaper. And like we were saying, people tend to put their family first. And this can sometimes be to the detriment of administrative things in Portugal. Because like I said, if they don't got to work, they won't. So if you have things to do administrative wise and you're hoping that somebody will stay open 5 minutes later or somebody will take pity on you because you don't speak Portuguese or no, sorry. Forget it. That's not the way it works.
For today.
Yeah, let's that'll be another video. But it is.
But even we do weekly meetups as well. Every Wednesday we meet up for drinks, like happy hour. There are always different people because sometimes new expats join, and but then you get closer to certain people, like like Lindsay, and you create your own groups. But all in all, I feel super happy here, and I found very good friends. Like if I needed like to paint. They roll their sleeves and they came to paint. If I need something, they will just offer their help. So we're very lucky, I think, to have this group.
I think so. And I mean, like I said, guys, this is a very simplistic overview of why we moved here. It's not like if you want a detailed breakdown of all of our political and socioeconomic views and how they compare to our home. Nobody wants that. But if you do happen to want it, tell us. And we can go into a more detailed video. And of course, in the future, we also plan on doing more videos. Like we'll do a whole video about Jason because Jason's awesome and we want to learn about Maltese people. And we'll do an entire video
and about
me,
my Madonna.
About his Madonna. Okay. We can teach you what that means in another video if you're interested.
Can we just say this and we can close if you want? But my friend once told me, why are you always mentioning Madonna, the singer? And I said, no, not the singer. I'm saying Madonna, like Madonna, Holy Mary, because I'm from Malta, which is very close to Italy. It has a lot of Italian influence, and we always do like Madonna, Ma, you know?
Also, Ma is another
Ma as well.
Maltese thing.
Ma
I've started
and
doing
Mela.
it because I hang out around him a lot. So I'll be at home with my very American boyfriend and I'll be like, Ma, he, which is a very Maltese thing to say. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes.
Anyway, okay, we're done. This was our first video. I hope that you like it. And if you guys have any other topics that you would love for us to speak upon, please comment below. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Bye.